Hey, Goku. How you doing, buddy? I just came back from the doctor, and the doctor said no more monkeys jumping on the bed. So we gotta go to your bed next time. You know what I mean. Shut up. Hey guys, welcome back to the After Hours. I'm the AAIL Beast, and today we're gonna talk about side effects. One of the side effects of having this holiday season is the increase in volume. Now, when we have this great amount of volume coming in, that means retail is starting to pick up after a long period of nothing. Now, normally we call winter the death season. We say that because most people get sick. We're talking about back in medieval times where we had to worry about the plague. What's important about this is everyone's reminded as a culture that during the winter, you are supposed to get sick. You're supposed to get depressed. It's just known as that type of season. But when we think of holidays, especially the ones a part of winter, we see this as a major milestone. The next year is about to start. The last year is coming to an end. And with that, you need to know that people need to prepare for the winter. And when I talk about prepare, I mean financially, emotionally, and physically. People are going to get colder. They're going to get moodier. And what's one of the best fixes to all these situations? Money. Okay, when we talk about the winter, especially in the market, what you have to know is there's an uptick in activity. That's usually in the healthcare sector, and mostly in the healthcare sector because they're reminded of all the drugs and illnesses. So a lot of these companies, they like to do their promotion during the winter, as well as any type of scams and traps, because they know people are trying to spend money. Why are people spending money? That's because all those investors and traders, they became desperate. That feeling of desperate, it's a side effect from this season. When we talk about a state of mind that's desperate, you have to understand that you are in despair. You are at the bottom and you're clinging on to your last piece of hope, your Hail Mary. Now, what that means is a lot of people are lowering their standards. They're in a mindset of all or nothing because mentally they've already been defeated, or they're frustrated and they want to react violently. Now, when you do this as a trader, the only person that gets hurt is the trader. That's why we don't want to be desperate or any negative emotion when we are trading. When you see a desperate trader, especially during the winter, they are the traders that want to make money into the next year. And so they put it all on long, or they put it all on short. It looks like a massive short squeeze on a very cheap stock. It can also look like a stock that's under $1 going all the way up to $10 with a massive amount of volume. So in the right situation, at the right time, you can have a supernova. And when I say the right situation, that's usually a desperate situation. That means at some point, someone has been defeated or they're frustrated, and the way they respond is very violently. Now in trading, what does violent trading look like? It's the one where self-sabotaging. That means you threw your risk management out of the way. You oversize on your position and you don't care anymore. Now, when it comes to supernovas, other than just having massive amounts of volume, normally small float, and a relatively small market cap, you have to understand that the stock usually goes parabolic. The stock price usually gains 2 or 3 decimal places. In most cases, they go up 1,000%, and that's all in one day. But what you need to understand is with each of these stocks, there is a price level. It might be $1 to $3 or $3 to $10, maybe even $20 to $50. Each of these levels, they have their own volume distribution. That means at each price level, there's supposed to be a game played. There's a game between resistance and support. But when you have a desperate trader, as well as an extremely low float, that game goes out the door. So when we talk about an emotional trader, you have to understand, emotional traders don't make money. If anything, they're the ones that lose the money the most often. Once your emotions get involved, you usually fall into the same emotional categories, like FOMO, analysis paralysis, over trading, or overall being delusional. Now, what you have to understand is the cause and the effect, because we know the side effect of being a desperate trader. That's usually you lose money. Now, let's talk about what happened this week. Now, when we look at BBOS, we see the stock went from $4 all the way up to almost $50. That's over 1,000% increase. And we would consider this the main play because the next day, there was another ticker that went up 1,000%. Now, this might be in a different price level, but this stock went from 80 cents all the way up to $10. Now, technically, these are in 2 separate sectors. One, where we're in the healthcare sector, and the second, we're in technology. Now, what makes this a sympathy play is that the same traders are in each of these stocks. Now, the sympathy play took the momentum from BBOS, and usually as a rule of thumb, when one breaks, the other one falls even faster. Now, what makes the Sympathy play a safer play is not only are we dealing with the same people that we were dealing with yesterday, all the prejudice and historic frustrations from BBOS, where you had massive short squeezes, a lot of volatility, all of that is taken out of the Sympathy play. When we look at MINM, what's really important is that this had some historic resistance. Now, when we look back, we can see this resistance activated. It may have been delayed, but at some point it did activate. Now, one of the things that made BVOS really popular is that it had warrants as well as massively overextended. All that crowded volume as well as momentum transferred over to MMN. This was purely traded on the emotions of the trader. There was no legit catalyst. Even the delinquency notice was over a week ago. But what's important is this predictable? And could you make money from it? Yes, especially on the Sympathy play. Now, the people that try to use the resistance like a fixed point, they may have been shaken out. They could have taken a loss. But to the people that used a small size, there's a higher chance that they stayed in. So when we talk about parabolics and supernovas, what you have to understand is there's the main play and then there's the Sympathy play. Now, the Sympathy play is usually safer than the main play if it actually correlates with the main play. If at some point that it stops following the main play, the Sympathy play usually drops harder than the main play because the Sympathy play usually steals the original volume from the main play. We understand that the only reason this stock is going up is because that stock went up yesterday. On these Sympathy plays as well as hype plays, people are prone to panic. And that's why we say scared money doesn't make money. Whenever you're in a negative mindset, you can't make the right decision. You're gonna do something reckless or desperate. So whenever you're an emotional trader, you have to stay away from being scared. Any type of negative emotion will cloud your judgment. So when we talk about trading, you have to understand the best trading is when you trade with a plan. Because if you have a reaction for whatever happens, you don't have to worry about the emotions because you would just change your plan next time. Your plan is what makes you money. If you have a pre-made reaction, all you can do is adjust your plan. There's no reason to be frustrated. There's no reason to get violent. Now, no one wants to lose, but losing is inevitable in the market. But you need to learn from your losses. Now, the best way to learn from your losses is to have a record. Now, when we talk about having a record, you have to understand, why did you go in the first place? And you know all this because you're going to have a trading plan, and that's going to be a part of your strategy. At any point, you can destroy your execution by having a negative state of mind, because when you have a negative state of mind, the tweaks that you make to your system are usually not going to be a part of the reality. They're going to be part of your delusion. And this is especially the case when you become moody during the winter. All right, guys, that's all I got for you today. If you like what you saw, hit the like and subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.